So a lot of people have well and truly covered the issue of the leak and the blockage of the drains that are brilliantly located under this mechanism. Great stuff, BMW. However, what I wanted to cover is a point that I haven't seen anybody cover yet. So the part of the issue with the leak in these convertibles is what you have, and I've already taken it out, what you have along here is the black cover, I'm actually not sure what it's called, that goes in the boot here. And you have a lever inside the boot to, and what happens is you get water leaking through. There's a seal that goes around this opening, and when that seal's compromised, not only does all this fill up with water and you have that issue, but it actually leaks through here. So yes, it's great to clear the drains and make them empty to the water well, but what you also need to do is make sure this is sealed well, because otherwise what happens, you can still get water in there and it will still run through this part, and of course make your boot nice and wet. So as you can see, I've already removed it, and so what you find is I've got it here on the ground, and what you find happens is this is the right hand side, and you've got the sensor connection and so on, and you see these white marks. This is where water's coming through on my one, and this is a seal along here all the way around. And so what you need to do is make sure this is sealed well. Otherwise, see, you can see some white marks here where water's got through, over there, and also along the top section. You'll find on the other side as well, same scenario. Got a few white patches here, and these are bits where signs where water's got through. So what you need to do, not only clear the drains and make sure that flows well, but you need to make sure this is sealed. If this is not sealed, water can still get in, even though the drains might drain. If you get water on this thing, I'll just flip it over. That's what it looks like from the other side. And you also make sure that there are no tears or holes in this thing, because again, otherwise water will still get in your boot. So I've taken this out, as you can see. Another issue that you find is along the top edge, this is the way it sits in the boot. Along the top edge, along the top of your boot is bowed. You can see mine has a bow in it. So again, you need to straighten those out and make sure they're all fitted, because water still gets in there and again leaks into the boot. So all this needs to be addressed in order to utterly and completely fix the boot leaking problem. So you need to do all of that, clear the drains out, make sure the water flows well and comes out underneath the car, both sides, and seal this properly. So I've already removed, as you can see, I've already cleaned this up nice and got rid of all the muck, and I'm going to go ahead and seal it. And so as I was saying a moment ago, one of the things to seal it, need to clean all this off first and make sure this is all dry and any bits of dirt and so on. So you want a nice clean surface. So thankfully mine, the seal doesn't look too bad. It looks pretty good nick. So I've just got to reseal it. So you want to wipe around all the edges, the whole seal, make sure it's nice and clean, no dirt or anything on them, so that we can seal it properly. Do this all the way around, both sides. So back again. Now what I've done, as you can see, I've put this plastic thing back in, sealed it all the way around using a soft sealant so it doesn't go hard, like an outdoor type sealant, do the job. But I've also added in, as you can see, these screws, self-tapping screws that will go in. They don't need to be too tight, but it just pulls in this plastic bit that was bowing out. So put sealant along the top here as well before you bolt it up, which I haven't done yet. I've just drilled the holes to put them in so that they work well. But you can see it's pulled it in nicely and it will all bolt up well. So I'll get on and undo them and do the sealant, and back in a moment. Hello, back again. Now, all done. See, Now what we do is we put everything back together and make sure it's sealed all around the edges. Messy job, but you do this, so I'll clean up the little bit of mess after. But if you do this well, water will not seep through. Water has a habit of seeping through here if you're not careful and leaking into the boot. So not only clear the drains, make sure this is sealed. So I go along there, and I fix it, and I've added a couple of screws, so now this is not bowing out anymore, so water can't get in there. I've sealed along there as well. And you can see on the left hand side, I've done the same. I'll clean up the excess sealant and so on, but this makes sure that even this black cover, whatever they call it, I'm not sure what the name of it is, make sure that that's sealed as well. And so with your drains cleared under there, and with this sealed all the way around, and make sure there's no tears or holes in this thing, and the water leak problem should be solved. Hello, one other thing is we found that these grommets can turn a little bit. They're not exactly tight, so what I've done to ensure there's no further leaks is put joint sealer around them to make sure that they're sealed. We've got 3 of them on each side, 1 there and 2 there. So now the whole thing, there's no more bows up along the top there. That's all bolted in place and sealed, and I've sealed all around the whole plastic thing, whatever they call it. So I won't fold these back. They're supposed to be the other way, but I'll leave them like that because let the sealant dry and so on. And that should completely solve the leak of water getting into the boot, because also the drains are now clear. I actually pressure washed in here as well to make sure there's no dust and leaves and crap sitting around in there, so it completely flows through. I've also put a little bit of sealant around each of the screws just to make sure that they're all sealed, so this should now be completely sealed, this compartment here, just about. So there should be no more leaks at all. We'll soon see the next day it rains. So I'll give this time to dry and settle before I put the roof down, because yeah. Okay, so hopefully this helps some people. One of the things I forgot to mention, one of the things that you definitely should do after sealing all this and cleaning out the drains and so on, there's a little drains just here that go, unfortunately, into the cavity there, but also make sure they're clear. All I do is I've just got a big screwdriver through there, make sure it's clear, and also along the seal, along the car here where the lid comes down, make sure all that's clear of any dirt and grime build up, because all that will happen is if it rains, it will simply wash down this cavity and get stuck in your drain, potentially. It's just more gunk to build up in your drain. So do both sides. So I've put a little bit of soap in there because I've washed it out. But just stick something through it to make sure it's nice and clear, because you don't want anything to get stuck in there. And again, clear out all along the seal, because dirt can build up in this little groove here, and what will happen is that dirt will just come along here down this little groove, and again potentially help build up any blockages in your drain, and you want to try and avoid that as much as possible. Okay, thank you. Now what we've got here is a jug of water. Now what you want to happen is if we pour it all in, see, lots of water. You are draining out nicely. That's what we want to happen. Yeah, that's the left hand side. On the right hand side, want the same thing. Here we go. Just dump that water in there. So you hear that gurgling noise here? That's what you want to hear. All the water's gone. And you want to see that.
Alright.
You see that underneath the car shows that all the water's draining out nicely, and of course all the water's gone from in there. Beautiful.